There's a lie most people live with every single day, and they don't even realize it. The lie is this: your past defines you, your mistakes, your failures, the things you regret, the moments you wish you could erase. Most people believe those things follow them forever. But here's the truth: God doesn't see you through your past. And if you keep holding on to it, you're not being faithful. You're being stuck. Isaiah 43:18 says, "Forget the former things. Do not dwell on the past." Wait, forget. The Bible is actually telling you to stop replaying what happened. That sounds almost impossible, because your mind keeps going back there. The pain feels real. The regret feels justified. But here's what most people miss. Remembering is not the problem. Dwelling is. And dwelling is what's keeping you from becoming who you're meant to be. Today, I'm going to show you the deeper truth behind why God is warning you to let go of your past. And if you ignore this, you won't just feel stuck. You'll unknowingly block your future. Let's start where this struggle really begins. Number 1, you're mistaking memory for identity. Most people think, I did this, so this is who I am. But that's not how God works. Your past actions are events, not your identity. But here's the trap. The more you replay a mistake, the more it starts to feel like your definition. You stop saying, I made a mistake, and you start saying, I am a mistake. That shift is subtle, but it's dangerous. Because once your identity gets tied to your past, you stop believing you can change. But here's what most people don't realize. God never introduces you by your past. He calls you by your purpose. Think about it. Moses was a murderer. David was an adulterer. Peter denied Jesus. But none of them were remembered for their worst moment. Why? Because God doesn't build your future based on your past. He builds it based on who you're becoming. And if you keep identifying with who you were, you'll resist who you're meant to be. Number 2, your past is being used to control your present. Let's be honest. Some of your decisions right now are not based on faith. They're based on fear. Fear of repeating the same mistake. Fear of getting hurt again. Fear of failing again. So what do? You play small. You hold back. You hesitate when you should move. But here's the truth most people avoid. That's not wisdom. That's bondage. Because when your past dictates your present, you're no longer living freely. You're reacting, and here's what changes everything. God's direction always moves forward, never backward. So if your thoughts keep pulling you into what already happened, that's not guidance. That's resistance. But here's what most people miss. You can't step into a new season while mentally living in an old one. It doesn't work. You'll sabotage what God is trying to build, because you're still protecting yourself from what God already brought you out of. Number 3, you're holding on to what God already released. This one is hard, because it feels responsible to remember your past. It feels like accountability, but there's a difference between learning and carrying. God forgives, but you keep replaying. God releases, but you keep holding on. Why? Because part of you thinks you deserve to carry it. That letting go means you're ignoring what happened. But that's not true. Letting go is not denial. It's agreement with God. And here's the deeper truth. When you refuse to release your past, you're quietly rejecting God's forgiveness. Not intentionally, but functionally. Because you're saying, what I did is bigger than what God can restore. And that's simply not true. But here's what most people never realize. Guilt feels like humility, but sometimes it's just disbelief in grace. Number 4, your past is blocking your ability to see what God is doing now. Isaiah 43 doesn't just say, forget the former things. It continues, see, I am doing a new thing. Now it springs up. Do you not perceive it? Did you catch that? God is already moving, but you can't perceive it if your attention is locked on what's behind you. Imagine trying to walk forward while staring backward. You'll stumble every time. That's what's happening spiritually. You're missing opportunities, missing growth, missing clarity. Not because God isn't working, but because you're not looking in the right direction. But here's what changes everything. God's new work requires new vision. And you can't have new vision with old focus. Number 5, letting go is not weakness, it's obedience. This is where most people get it wrong. They think holding on to the past makes them strong, like they're honoring the lesson. But the Bible is clear. Obedience is strength, and God's instruction is simple. Do not dwell on the past. Not try not to. Not minimize it. Do not dwell. That means letting go is not optional. It's necessary. And here's the part nobody wants to hear. If you keep revisiting what God told you to release, you're not protecting yourself. You're delaying yourself, because obedience unlocks movement. Disobedience keeps you stuck in cycles. But here's what most people miss. Healing doesn't come from revisiting the past over and over. It comes from moving forward with God. So what does this actually mean for you? It means your past is not your prison, unless you keep returning to it. It means your mistakes are not your identity, unless you keep claiming them. It means your future is not blocked, unless you keep looking backward. God is not asking you to pretend nothing happened. He's asking you to stop letting it define everything. Because the version of you God is building right now cannot exist if you keep holding on to who you used to be. So here's the question, and don't answer it quickly. What part of your past are you still allowing to control your life today? A mistake? A failure? A moment you can't undo? Now hear this clearly. That moment is not stronger than God's plan for you. It never was, and it never will be. But you have to choose release or repeat, because you can't do both. If this opened your eyes, type release in the comments. One word. Because that word is not just a comment, it's a decision. And the moment you decide to release your past is the moment you finally make space for your future.